for those of you who just got on, having a strap and a block. And then we're going to start out on our backs. Unless you know that doing that hip opener on your back is very uncomfortable for you and you don't like it, and you'd rather be seated or whatever, feel free. But otherwise, if you can move onto your back, for those of you who are okay with that, and let's just draw our knees. Maybe you can start with a couple of apanasanas, just drawing the knees in and out. You can certainly change, if you're on gallery view, you want to change your screen to speaker view. So you just maybe see, I should be the only one actually showing up now speaking, but that guarantees that somebody won't flash into your screen if you have it on speaker view. It'll just be me. So as we settle in, I just invite you. I mean, I know, as we've talked about before, obviously with the holidays and all of that, we can kind of get a lot of external stimuli going from all various directions. So let's just give ourselves a minute to release through our back and kind of connect into the body. And keep in mind, as always, our intention is first mindfulness. And that mindfulness comes from really being aware of where we're placing our thoughts, and our breath is a great tool, or where we're placing our conscious attention, not our thoughts. And our breath is a great tool to keep us from just spinning in our minds. When you're ready, if you'll set your feet on the floor, if they aren't already, and just let your knees be bent and have your feet right together. And you can choose, if you want to do the chest opening piece at the same time, set your elbows on the floor, kind of in line with your chest, maybe just a little lower than your chest, and then allow the back of your hands to fall back to the floor, and then just tuck your shoulder blades underneath you and let your chin soften in towards your chest. But if that's not comfortable for you, just place your arms in a place that you feel you can let go. Then when you feel ready, allow your inhalations to just slowly open the knees wide apart. And when the soles of the feet come together, then just as you take your exhalation, tilt your pelvis back into the floor and slowly bring your legs back together. And we're just going to do this a couple of times here so that we can allow blood flow to come into the pelvic floor, obviously into all the muscles that attach the femurs into the pelvis, the upper bones of our legs here. And when you're ready, if you can please just allow your knees to remain open. So you have the soles of the feet together and your knees are just gently open. And remember, this is where you can slide blocks underneath the upper thighs. If you feel as though it's too much for you to have the knees that wide apart, you can just take that block, slide it kind of in the upper thigh area to lift the knees up higher, or you can take blocks as well. Now I invite you to just go to your breath, and we're going to start with diaphragmatic breathing. And feel free, sometimes after you've sat here for a minute, you might feel like you want to kind of tilt your pelvis back and let yourself resettle in as the body opens. So don't be afraid, I would say, of taking movement if you need it. Listen to your body and do what feels right to you. And that includes closing the legs at any time. You can always reopen them. Each time you take an exhalation, just feel your navel gently drawing in toward your spine. And as you go to take that inhalation, really emphasize the belly extending up toward the ceiling. Just trying not to let the breath move into the chest at this point in time. See if you can relax the shoulders back. See if you can even relax with the breath so you don't feel like you're forcing. Notice if your forehead is relaxed, the space in between your eyebrows, your jaw. See if you might be able to completely let go of your legs. And let's just invite our breath to deepen and move into Dir Shwasam. So as you take your next exhalation down toward the spine, allow that belly to extend up again, and then bring the remainder of the breath up into the rib cage and up toward the collarbones. And then feel everything just contract back in until lastly you feel your navel drawing in. Just find a depth of breath that you're beginning to extend that exhalation toward a 5-count exhale. Something comfortable for you, where you can just allow yourself to move toward a deeper, slower, smoother exhalation. And as you just let go, your inhalation is going to automatically become deeper. What I'd like to do today as you work with your 3-part breath into whatever depth is comfortable to you, we're going to add the Kriya rotation breath in just a moment here, where we're going to start at the tailbone. We're going to draw our awareness up through the center of our spine to the space in between our eyebrows, and we'll be pausing there. And when we're ready to take the exhalation, we bring our awareness up the forehead, around the back of the head, and down the outside of the spine to our tailbone with a gentle pause, and then we will be starting up again. So if you will take your exhalation, and with that exhale, bring your awareness down to your tailbone. When you're ready to inhale, imagine that you're bringing that awareness right up through the center of your spine until you're pausing at the space in between your eyebrows. Pause as long as you want, and when you're ready to exhale, let the awareness slide over the back of your head and bring that awareness down through the outside of your spine until you're at your tailbone. Pausing there, and then just start up again. And as you bring your exhalation down to your tailbone the next time, I invite you to let go of any control of your breath. Just kind of noticing the breath. And all through class, just be aware of the breath, working to the depth of breath that works for your body. If your arms are in that open chest position, let them come down alongside your body, and we're going to slowly close our knees. And once your knees touch one another, bring them right into your chest. So now we have our hands down by our body. We're going to soften our chin softly in toward the chest. We're going to exhale, pull our belly in, and have a 2-count pause. And when you're ready to inhale, extend your legs straight to the ceiling, reach your arms up and over your head, and push your heels toward the ceiling. And as you exhale, point your toes, bring the hands down, pull the belly in. And you're going to just move in and out of that. See, when you bring those arms up, can you reach as though somebody's pulling your arms? And you can feel it through the rib cage, through the chest, through the armpits. Remember to point the toes on the way down. Gentle 2-count pause of the breath with your belly drawn in. And of course, as you inhale, push the heels to the ceiling and pull the toes towards your head. Now, when you go to take your next exhale, I invite you to bring your arms down, let your knees come in, make sure you take your 2-count pause, and then put your feet on the floor. Once you're there, if you'll grab your strap, we're going to start with our right leg, and we'll put that strap around the ball mounts of the toes and extend our right leg straight up toward the ceiling. You're going to want to have enough room off to the side of each side of your body to extend your leg out. So when you grab onto that strap, grab on with your right hand and find a place where you can just soften even your elbow, let your shoulder relax down. You've got the left knee bent right now, and some of you might decide that's the best stretch for you. Let your left palm turn up if you're okay with that, and let your left shoulder roll back in a very relaxed position. Then if you feel you can, you'll extend your left leg straight out. Some of you can push through the heel, straightening that leg to the best of your ability. Some of you can even push through the heel of your right leg, keeping that leg as straight as your body will allow. If it feels too much to push through your heel of the right leg, then just soften a little bit. I'm going to invite you to choose a breath that you're going to be the most comfortable with. For those of you who are comfortable with the central channel breathing, I invite you to exhale your awareness all the way down to your foot. And as you inhale, you're going to bring your awareness up to the knee, to the tailbone, and to the belly. And as you go to exhale, you'll bring your awareness to your heart, your throat, the space in between your eyebrows, and out the crown of your head. And then you'll inhale back, space in between your eyebrows, the throat, the heart center, into the belly, and back down the body, tailbone, knee, sole of the foot. So if you're comfortable with following that central channel breath, then just attach and flow with that. If that gets you too much in your head for you, then just do your 3-part breath. You're gently drawing that leg toward the body, and you want to keep that leg toward the right side of your chest so it's not on the outside of the body. Now, when you feel ready, allow your next exhalation to open your leg out to the right, towards your right shoulder and out. So it's up and out. You can adjust your strap to whatever degree you need. Be very mindful. Keep pushing through your left heel. However, if you have your knee bent, just push through your left foot to keep your left hip down. Some of you might set your right elbow on the floor, depending on your flexibility. Some of you might, after a breath or two, rotate your leg into an external rotation where the foot is flexed, and you rotate the toes down toward the floor. Whatever it is for you, just breathe there. If you can still do your central channel breath, whatever breath you've chosen, let yourself flow with the breath. We're going to take one more nice slow exhalation. Let yourself have an inhale again. And when you're ready to exhale, activate your core and slowly bring your leg to the center of your body. pausing there. So let's switch hands. We'll let the left hand come on in and grab that strap. As you slowly bring your right hand down, see if you might be able to just turn your palm up, soften your right shoulder back. So remember, as we cross over to the left, we're trying to aim toward the left shoulder. Maybe you can have your foot very flexed. You're making the leg as straight as you can. And you're just going to the side. You're not trying to stack your hips here, but you'll keep your left glute down on the floor. Your right one might come off, but you have your left one down. In fact, your right one will probably come off. And try to have that same external rotation for those who feel like you wanted more of a stretch. It's like you're rolling the inner thigh, the toes, everything up toward the ceiling a little bit. And just breathe there. Now, what we're going to do right here, if you can, is when you go to take your next exhalation, bend your right knee now. You can let go of your strap and let the right knee cross over the body. And if you can completely stack your hips here, go right ahead. Feel whatever's right for your body. Take your left hand onto your knee. Take your right arm and extend it right straight up out of your shoulder or to whatever degree your body will allow. Getting that full extension here on the right side of the body. Take full deep breaths. Each time you inhale, feel like you're reaching your arm up. And as you go to take your exhalation, pull your belly softly in and bend at the elbow just a little bit. And then when you go to take that next inhale, re-extend. Let yourself extend one more time. And after that extension and you go to exhale, roll back onto your back and just gently hold your right knee in towards your chest for a moment. Now let's take and bend both of our knees again, set our feet on the floor, make sure that your hips and your shoulders are aligned with one another. And let's take up that left leg. We'll put our strap around the ball mounts of our toes, grab onto the strap in some comfortable manner for you. Take a moment to really tuck your shoulders down and away. Let the weight of your arm draw that leg in. Maybe you can flex through the foot. Watch the right hand here now. If you can turn the palm up and let your right shoulder release back, then please do so that you can just let go of any gripping in the body on that side that you don't need to be having. Then if you can extend the right leg, perhaps some of you can push through the heel. Notice this side compared to the other side and just take nice, slow breaths here. Remember to keep your leg toward the left chest, the side of your chest, not to the outside of the body. Notice if your jaw is relaxed, the space in between your eyebrows, either your central channel breathing or your three-part breath. When you're ready to follow an exhalation, you're going to open out to the left. Take your time, feel into your body. Remember to be pushing through your right heel or into the right foot if your knee is bent so that you keep your right hip down. Keep your right shoulder soft. Adjust your strap to whatever you need. Pause wherever your body says is enough. and breathe there. And if anytime you need to come out before I've said anything, you know to practice ahimsa. If you're very flexible in this area, you can always do the external rotation of your leg where you try to draw that inner thigh down toward the floor, your toes down toward the floor. Obviously, it's a tiny little movement as you push through your right foot. Soften through your jaw and connect to whichever breath you've chosen. Just let yourself have an inhalation. Whenever you follow the next exhalation after that, activate your core and draw that leg slowly back up. Pause with that leg back at the center of the body. Now let's switch hands here. Let yourself settle. Let your left hand, if possible, palm up. Left shoulder rolls back. Feel the energy in that left hand. Feel the blood flow come back into that left hand. Draw the leg toward your chest, and then when you're ready, straighten the leg as best you can. Come over toward the right side, keeping your right hip down, coming toward the right shoulder. Pausing as soon as you feel that outer, it might be at the knee, remember, it might not be in the hip. You might be tight enough that it's going to be toward the back of the knee. Wherever it is, just pause there. Those of you who want to add that little bit of external rotation, inner thigh rolls up toward the ceiling, toes are flexed, rolls up toward the ceiling. Now, when you go to take your next exhalation, let yourself bend at the knee. You can slide your strap off or leave it there, either way. You're going to stack the hips as much as you feel comfortable, taking your right hand onto that left leg, trying to keep your left shoulder back toward the floor and lift the left arm as best you can straight up out of your shoulder. Each time you take that inhalation, I invite you to extend like someone's pulling your arm. And then as you exhale, bend at the elbow, feel your belly fully draw in, and do that again. When you go to take your next exhale, just roll back onto your back, take your time, pause with that knee into your chest. Let's bring both knees up. So I invite you to slide your hands underneath your hips, and so that the palms of your hands are down on the mat, and your buttocks is on the back of the hands. We're going to extend our legs straight up now and flex our feet. Open your eyes if they're closed for just a second, and take an exhalation and pull your belly in and lift your head looking at your toes, and then set your head back down. So we're going to do that with our exhalation. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale, pick up your head, but now you're going to start lowering those legs down to the floor. Feel your core draw in. As soon as you feel like you need to, you'll bend your knees back into your chest. Let your head come down, relaxing. Let your inhalation lift the legs back up. And whenever you're ready to exhale, lift your head, activate your core, and start lowering those legs again. You might hover just above the floor. You might bring the knees in halfway, whatever it is for you. Just be mindful that you're using your core. You're not lifting the head and activating, watching the toes activates the core. So you're not going to rely on your back so much. When you go to lower the legs the next time, if your body will just come on up into a seated position, just lift yourself on up. Otherwise, come on up whatever way gets you there. You can set your strap off to the side. We're going to come up into table pose. So take your time. I'll hook on my microphone. We're going to have our knees right underneath our hips, and we'll have our hands underneath our shoulders. We're going to move in and out of this table pose and into our downward dog. So make sure that your wrists feel comfortable. If you want to take those middle fingertips out to the corner of your mat. So what I want you to feel here, if you will, is as you take an inhalation, lift your tailbone slightly, but then contract your upper back and try to pull your chest through. Let your chin come in towards your throat. You should feel a stretch in the front of the body. Now tuck your toes under and press back into a child's pose or a downward facing dog. Look at your feet. They should be hip bone distance apart. And then inhale back down onto your knees, curling right through the feet if you can, maybe even straightening those toes back and the ankles as you pull forward. And then you're going to exhale back either into a child's pose or a downward dog. This time, we're going to pause there, and we're going to take a nice, maybe 4 or 5 count exhalation, whatever it is for your body. And then you'll inhale back, curling right through the feet, straightening the feet out as you pull the chest forward, chin come in toward your throat. Exhaling back when you're ready. This time, not counting the exhale that brought you there, we're going to do 2 additional exhales. See if you can slow that breath down. Once you have completed those 2 additional exhalations, just bring yourself back through your table. When you're ready, you're going to come back, and not counting this exhalation that's bringing you there, we're going to pause here for 3 exhalations. Trying to slow the breath down. You can gently draw the arms toward one another. You have a slight internal rotation of your legs. If you find 3 is too much and you're just going to do 2 and then come into a child's pose for that last breath, you know your body. When you finish those 3 breaths, you'll move back through your table. I just realized I made the mistake of putting lotion on my hands before doing this. Not really a smart move. Now this next time, we're going to do a 4 count breath. Just soften the shoulders. Again, you can slightly draw the arms toward one another. You have an internal rotation. Some of you have bent knees in order to press the body back. When you find yourself completing your 4 count breath, I invite you to walk your hands back toward your feet and fold over into Uttanasana. If you're in the child's pose, you can just bring yourself up in whatever way works and then fold over into Uttanasana. Take a moment when you get into your Uttanasana to exhale and bend your knees. Drop the hips like you're going to sit in a chair, and then inhale and re-extend to whatever degree your body will allow. Your hamstrings should be fairly loose here, but we just want to give it that last little bit. You can keep your head up if necessary. So as you take your exhalation this next time and drop your hips down, I'm going to invite you to bring your arms out like an airplane and lead with your chest, with your inhale coming all the way up. Once you get up, you're going to bring your hands together. You're going to draw them down to your chest and let your chin soften down. You might feel a little bit of lightheadedness from hanging over like that. Just pause with the chin at the chest for a moment. I also want you to feel your shoulders roll back. Allow your arms to come down by your side. Turn your palms out and feel the chest open. And then with your eyes closed, just lift your head up. Good. So we're going to open our eyes, and I invite you to come to your mat and with your legs wide apart. So in the center of the mat, and check that your toes are in line with one another. Extend your arms out and see if you maybe even have your wrists almost as wide as your ankles. So we're going to take your right foot and turn it out. We're going to come into triangle pose here. So your right foot is coming out at a 90-degree angle. You can kick your left heel out just a little bit and let your left hand just come to your low back. And some of you may choose to bend through your right leg, and that's fine. We're going to inhale over this leg, either bent knee if you need to, or straight. We're going to let that hand come down and just be gentle on yourself here. Tuck your tailbone down and open your chest toward the ceiling. So you may be up high and you may have your knee bent. That's fine. You're going to get this lateral stretch, which will help us with our revolved triangle. If you can extend your left arm up, then go ahead and extend your left arm up. It is a little harder on your neck to look up toward the ceiling, so you might find it more comfortable to look down toward the floor. If you do want to use your block, you can put your hand on your block. Follow your breath here. Make sure you aren't poking out your rib cage. So you should feel comfortable in your back. Take another deep breath in. As you go to exhale, bend through your front knee and just lift yourself up. Good. So we're going to switch feet. Take your right foot and turn it out parallel, or let your heel come a little bit toward the back of the mat. Let your right hand just come to your low back. Maybe bend the knee. You'll see. In fact, if you're not sure, bend the knee and come over and let your hand come down. And then think of dropping your tailbone, pull the rib cage in if you tend to arch through your back. Open your chest, maybe the arm straightens. Then you can decide, does it make sense for me to try to straighten that leg, or do I get a more lateral stretch here by keeping my knee bent because my leg is too tight? Keep your head in line with your spine and choose where you want your drishti, your focal point. And then find your breath. Feel the belly. It's almost like each exhalation, you're trying to pull the belly in and up toward the ceiling. There's a slight twist in the body here. So those of you who can, when you go to take your next exhale, we're going to windmill down to the floor and into a downward dog. So you can just bend your knee if possible and step back into that downward facing dog, or a child's pose if you need that. Take a moment here in your down dog to just lift up onto your toes. Just stretch right through your feet and bend one knee and soften the other heel down toward the floor. Really working, and then come back up and switch. Really working through the feet and through the Achilles tendons. Now, if you'll let yourself now come into a full down dog, either with the knees bent. In fact, I invite all of you, bend your knees and lift your heels up for a minute in your down dog. You can feel all of that extension. Now try to straighten your legs with that kind of extension and soften your shoulders away from your ears. We're going to inhale and look at our hands, and we're going to step to the top of the mat, whatever way gets you there. Fold over into your Uttanasana, pausing there. You can let your arms gently wrap around your legs so you can broaden through your upper back. You can have the knees bent if you need to. Let your head soften in if your body allows that. And see, as you take your exhalation, can you shift your weight just a little bit forward into your feet with that slight internal rotation of your legs? Feel your pelvis just kind of broaden as you draw those legs in and out. I should say roll in toward the back of the wall behind you, kind of a thing. Little subtle movement. So as you take your exhalation, bring your awareness down to your feet. Inhale with that slight shift of the weight into the front of the feet, up to the tailbone. Exhale, let go right down the spine, through the crown of the head. And then inhale your awareness back up the body, like big circles. Feel the belly just hollowing out. Now, the next time you take an exhalation, see if you can pull your body a little closer in, maybe. Now, inhale part way up. You're going to flatten the back, whatever it is for you to get a flat back. And then exhale back in and open that upper body. And you're going to inhale all the way up, either bent knees or straight, activating the bandhas. Take your time to lower your chin to your chest, your hands to your heart center. Pausing here. So if you'll open your eyes, we're going to come into Parsvottanasana. So you're going to step your right foot back, not a big step, not like Vera 1. Your hip bones are going to be forward, and you're going to make sure that your back foot is, if you had a clock around you, maybe at a 2 o'clock position, so it's not completely out to the sides. You don't want to twist on your knee. This right hip, think of, you want to take that right knee and kind of roll it into the center of the body. So you have that right hip forward. We're going to lift our right arm up. And as we take our exhalation, we're coming over the left leg. And again, you can bend it. You're going to get extended as far as you can, taking the right hand to the outside of that leg if possible. Maybe your head drops in, maybe not. And you're going to inhale and come right back up through parallel. If the knee needs to be bent to be comfortable, please do that. And then you're going to come back down. Just follow your breath, and don't be feel like it's not correct to bend the knee, because if you need to bend the knee and maybe you just come part way down, that's fine. And then you come back out. Be with what you can do, because there's always in any asana, in yoga, there is an adaptation. Well, I should, maybe not headstand or something like that, but these sort of movements, there's an adaptation to make it work for your body. When you come down this next time, I'm going to invite you to pause there. And again, this might be with a bent knee. You might have your chest lifted, and you're just working that way. Some of you can have your hands down on your foot. If you can reach the floor, try putting on your foot and challenge your balance. Feel your core. You have a slight internal rotation of that back leg. So if you kind of draw that knee, think of drawing that knee toward the center line, kind of draws the whole leg that direction. See if you can level off the shoulders. So we're going to take our left hand now and bring it to our waist. Let yourself have a nice full exhale. When you're ready, inhale back up, extending the right arm, taking your time. Once you get up, you're going to step to the end of your mat. Pause there in your Tadasana. Find that alignment, shoulders stacked over the hips, palms turned out, chin in towards your throat. You might notice, you might even feel as though your left leg is longer than your right leg. You might even notice the blood flow through the right side of the body, on the back body. Lift up your toes and just gently set the toes back down. Take an exhale and just open your eyes, and when you're ready, step back with that left leg. Find all that alignment. Be very aware that you're letting the left hip come forward, the right hip draw back. Definitely check your back foot, because that's where you don't want to have the toes angled out and just twist on your knee. Right hand's coming up, and once you have your foundation, remember bent knee is fine. Take an inhalation with the left arm up. Did I say right arm? Left arm's up. Right hand's at your waist. Exhale over the right leg. Feel that all the way down through the left side of the back. When you're ready, activate your bandhas and bring yourself back up. Just find your rhythm of breath. Feel each part of your movement. When you come down your next time, you're going to pause there. We're going to slide our hands wherever's comfortable for us. And we're going to follow our breath and be aware of drawing the right hip back, slight internal rotation of that right knee, or drawing it to the center line, which helps the whole leg come there. This is a balance asana, so be patient with yourself. Loving kindness and compassion to ourselves when we're doing our practice is very important. It's important in life. And if we practice it on our mat, perhaps we'll be better at it in our life. Notice this side as you're hanging out here breathing compared to the other side. Let's slide our right hand up to our waist, and whenever you feel ready, lead back up with your inhale. And if you need to bend the knee, please do. Once you come up, you're going to step up into your Tadasana, check your feet, and then allow yourself just to soften. As you take your exhalation down through the body, your awareness with your exhalation, again, noticing now you probably feel a little bit more balanced in your legs. Soften through your toes. Maybe you can even feel the energy through the back side of the body. Take a nice slow exhalation, open your eyes, and as you take an inhalation, just lead the arms up. Maybe you can lift the chest at the same time, and when you're ready, swan dive over into your Uttanasana. See if you can feel the freedom in the body compared to the last time you were here. We're going to let ourselves have a nice full inhale. And as you go to exhale, bend your knees. We're going to come down onto the mat in a seated position. Let's extend, whoopsie, got my microphone. Let's extend our right leg straight out. And we're going to take our left leg and cross it over. So we will take our right hand and wrap it around this left leg and turn and take our left hand back behind us to whatever degree you can. Now notice if you're kind of slouching, think of lifting your chest. And if that means moving your leg over and not cross it, that's fine. Think of coming from a full straight body, because that's what you're going to need in your revolved triangle. You're pressing through the heel of your right leg. It's very active. Each time you exhale, pull your belly in and see if you can pause for a 2-count pause. Your head's going to be turned to the right, or excuse me, to the left. As you inhale, let your head just come back to about the center of your chest. Exhale again, and as you pull that belly in, your chin is just going to move gently over to the left. Think of when we come into our revolved triangle in just a minute here, this is the position we're working on in the upper body. We're going to take one more exhalation and then just unwind when you finish. We're going to switch legs. So let your left leg come out. Perhaps you can cross it. If you find crossing it is too much, just leave it to the inside of your leg. Wrap that left arm around and bring your right hand back towards your hip. So first thing is to check, is my chest lifted? Not just my chin, but my chest lifted. And then let your chin drop to parallel. Feel the belly. We're also stretching to the outer hips. So you're gently drawing that knee in stretching through that outer hip. Each exhale, 2 count pause if you can. Only turning the head to the right to whatever degree is comfortable to your neck. You're not trying to force your head in any direction. The active part here is more through your core. Your left leg is active as far as you're pushing through your heel. Once you've taken your next exhalation, I just invite you to unwind. And if you will bring yourself up into a standing position, take a moment once you get there to fold back over into an Uttanasana. So whatever way gets you there, check that your feet are hip bone distance apart. Maybe you have bent knees still, that's fine. Take a nice slow exhalation here. Let the elbows come in. Maybe your chin can even come down toward the chest. Nice slow exhale, and then activate your bandhas. Inhale part way up and exhale and soften back in. We're going to inhale our way all the way back up. So just take your time. Exhaling the hands to the heart center. So as we open our eyes, we know that revolved triangle is a lot of balance, right? So let's grab our block. Our bodies are prepared for it. We're going to start by stepping our right foot back into that same Parsvottanasana position pretty much. You're going to take your block and set it into the inside of your left foot. If you're very good at this one and feel comfortable in your twist, it could be the outside of your foot. Whatever height you want to do. So let's take our time. We're starting right back into that Parsvottanasana. So the right arm is lifted, left hand is on the waist. So if you don't use the block, you can always come to your knee. So we're going to exhale and bring the hand down onto the block or to your knee, if that's the most comfortable place for you to be. So it would be your right hand. And the first thing you're going to do is extend through your collarbones and pull back on your left hip. And then as you exhale, you might try to open your shoulder. And again, it can be just bent knee and twisting towards your leg, or hand on a chair, or hand on the block. If you feel your shoulders are pretty stacked, then that left hand might extend. Your drishti can be down on the floor. Feel yourself gently kind of ground down into the ball mount of your front toe. And you're letting your back leg be in this internal rotation. Each time you exhale, pull the belly in, just like we did when we twisted. When you're ready, let your left hand come down to your waist, square your shoulders off, and inhale your way back out, either through a bent knee or straight. Nice. And then you'll just step up, pause in your Tadasana. See if you can just close your eyes here for a moment. Be aware of your breath. Let your awareness just float down through the body and soften. Let go of any tension. There's a lot going on in that asana as far as balance, twisting, stretching. So just soften here. Now if you'll open your eyes, we're going to try the other side. Step that left foot back. So once the foundation of any asana, the foundation of how you feel before you go into it in your feet is important. So always just take your time. Your right hand will be at your waist. The left arm is coming up. And again, if you're going to bend your knee, you can set your hand on your knee and just pause there. So come on down when you're ready. Think of extending from the tailbone through the chest, and then set your hand wherever it's going to be and see if you can open up the shoulder. It might be at the block. It might be just at your leg. And even having your hand at the leg, it's a great balance. Those of you can have remember you're twisting toward your leg. If the shoulders are fairly stacked, you'll bring the right arm up. If it's too uncomfortable to bring the right arm up, it's not, it's kind of like a little bonus thing to bring the arm up. You might get more out of it keeping your hand at your low back and rolling the shoulder back. You might find it easier on your neck to keep your drishti down toward the floor. Most importantly, keep your head an extension of the spine. If you'll just bring your hand to your waist when you're ready, softly bring yourself out using that inhalation, stepping up into your Tadasana when you feel ready. Check your feet. Let your heart center open. Allow your chin to come in towards your throat. As you take your exhalation, allow the awareness to come down to the feet and just lift up on the toes. Let yourself have another exhalation. We're just going to inhale and bring our arms up. You can open your eyes if you would like. Palms are going to come together in Anjali Mudra. And we'll exhale down to our mat. We'll work our way down onto our backs. So take your time. You can set your blocks off to the side. When you get onto your back, I invite you just to take your feet and put them on the floor with bent knees. Take your right ankle onto your left knee and then draw your left knee into your chest and just grab onto the back of that leg. So we're just going to release through that hip a little bit. Nice, slow breath. Let your chin soften in towards your throat. Let yourself have one more exhale and just put your left foot back on the floor and take your time to switch feet. So this is that alternative to pigeon. When you aren't able to get into that full pigeon, this is a great one. Just draw your right leg in now to release through the hips. But anytime we release through the hips, we're also releasing through our back. Take your time. You can certainly move a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left and just see how you feel in your body. Let your awareness just float with your breath. When you go to take your next exhalation, bring both of your knees into your chest and feel free to move into apanasanas or happy baby pose, whatever it is you would like to do to finish your practice before we slide in to our shavasana. I would like to take you through the loving kindness meditation again today. Holidays can be an emotional time as we bring individuals together. And it's kind of nice to keep that loving kindness in mind. And loving kindness for ourselves as well. Take your time to just bring yourself onto the mat with your blanket under your knees or your head, whatever it is you might need. A blanket over you, maybe. You can adjust your lighting if you're in a position to do that. You know that this is like giving yourself a little, I call it my little sacred time when I take my quiet time. It's very healing in letting everything just settle and return to our center. Once you find your physical body in a place where you can notice how you're completely supported, I invite you, when you get to that point, to let yourself inhale through your nose to the count of 4 and just exhale out your mouth to the count of 5. Inhaling through the nose to the count of 4. Exhaling out the mouth to the count of 5. And as you're doing that, just feel yourself begin to soften. Allow your awareness just to float into the breath. And just know that if thoughts come into your mind, they're just thoughts, and you can allow them to softly drift away and return to witnessing the breath. And as you take your next exhalation out the mouth, let's let go of any control of the breath. And imagine yourself just bathing in the golden light of healing, loving energy. And we're going to send this love and kindness to ourselves first so that we're better prepared to send it out into the world. So if you would just repeat after me, either silently or out loud, whichever feels best to you. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be blessed. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be blessed. Feel the love and the goodwill, the healing just pouring into yourself. Allow it to be absorbed by your body and your mind. Allow yourself just to bask in love, like it's a warm sunlight. Just breathing in love and peace. And let's direct this out into the world. If you would just repeat after me, either sending it to someone specifically or just into the world in general. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be blessed. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be blessed. Imagine that love and that peace just entering into your body with each inhale. And with each exhale, let it extend out into the world. I invite you to just gently take your thumb over your fingertips, just bringing the awareness back into your body. And as you're just resting there in this calm place, feel free to roll to your side in a fetal position or on your back, whatever feels comfortable to you. I want to share a thought about releasing what blocks your forgiveness. It says, when you feel hurt, having a forgiving attitude can seem impossible. It may be a situation where you feel mistreated by another person or an entire system that you believe is unjust. How do you forgive when you feel so wronged? It's certainly not easy. Author and end-of-life teacher Frank Otaseski, I think is how he says his name, resisting forgiveness is like grasping a hot coal and saying, I'm not going to let it go until you apologize and pay for what you have done to me. In our effort to punish, we are the ones to get burned. As long as you hold on to the hot coal of resentment and stay attached to the thinking that has you stuck in an unforgiving mindset, you are harming yourself more than anyone else. That's why forgiving yourself may be the most difficult of all. Holding on to self-persecuting thoughts restricts your heart and prevents you from realizing your true essence as a creator. No, no thoughtful or sustaining attitude of forgiveness will take place if you do not believe in your true essence as a creator, a deep and abiding inner goodness. Remember who you truly are. Forgiving does not mean you're condoning hurtful behaviors, forgetting or letting others off the hook. Forgiveness is forgiveness is not for those you are forgiving. Forgiveness is for yourself. And I always feel like coming into the end of the year for me to evaluate those areas of what I'm hanging on to, of resentments, and it can be just little things. In fact, one of the things that they suggest as a practice is don't start with something big. If you have someone who's really hurt you, start with little things like the guy who cuts you off on the freeway. You know, put yourself in a place of forgiving, or a coworker who's just loud and annoying, and learn how to forgive that, or some little things in your life, so that then someday you can set the intention that someday I might be able to forgive this bigger thing. But even the idea of being willing to think that someday it's a possibility takes the power back to you and not to the situation or the person. And I find when things come up to me that I either feel fearful about or unforgiving, I kind of like just moving into this that we just did. You can just gently say, may you be happy. May you be healthy, and may you be blessed. And that will switch the energy of what you're doing and the feeling in your body instantly, so that you don't go down the rabbit hole, if you will. So I invite you just to come on up into a centering position. And sometimes, and just stack your shoulders over your hips. And sometimes it may not be a major person in our life. It could be a neighbor that you have a little thing about. Carrying any of that just isn't. Notice your body when you feel that, and know that it's not a positive energy for you, and therefore it's not a positive energy for anybody. So I just invite you, if you'll take a nice slow exhalation and notice how you feel physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And if you will, let's just let our arms float up as we take an inhalation and bring those hands back together in Anjali Mudra. We'll float down to our forehead so that we can just remind ourselves of those mindful thoughts, at our mouth for mindful words, and at our heart center for mindful actions. And namaste, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you.